students. Good morning, ma'am. I would like to ask you all a question. Do you remember as to what we studied in the previous class? Yes, ma'am. We studied about properties of set operations. Good. Can anyone list the different properties of set operations? Commutative, associative, and distributive. Very good. Can anyone explain the set difference? Let A and B be any two sets. So the difference of sets A and B is the set of all elements which are in A but not in B. Excellent! Thus, in today's class, we will be discussing about problems on sets related to everyday life. Good morning.
Let's do a quick recap about cardinal numbers. So, what is a cardinal number? A cardinal number is the number of distinct elements in a given set A, right? So, it is denoted by the symbol n of A. Now, let's understand this better with the help of an example. Set A belongs to element 1, 2, 3, and 4. Therefore, the cardinal number, which means I have to count the number of elements. If I count, there are totally 4 number of elements, right? So I have written 4. N of A equals to 4. Likewise, in the next example, we have to find the cardinal number of the following. So they have given B is a set which is equals to the set of planets in our solar system. Again, you have to basically count the number of planets. So if you count, you get 8 as the answer. So again, I would like to repeat, cardinal number is basically the number of elements in a set. Yes. As I said earlier, in today's class, we'll be discussing about the application of cardinality of sets. So these are few results which they have derived. If A and B are two finite sets, then you can say n of A union B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B. Another result says n of A difference B equals to n of A minus n of A difference A intersection B. We have the next result, n of B difference A equals to n of B minus n of A intersection B. Next, we have n of A complement equals to n of U minus n of A. Now, let us try to understand this better with the representation of sets using Venn diagram. So, if you see carefully, you will see two sets, A and B. So this is set A, this is set B, right? Now they have said that A difference B means it is just A, excluding the B set completely. This circle completely is excluded. So A difference B means it is just till here. It just means till here. Got it, students? Next, B difference A means it is just the B set only till here. The set A is completely excluded. Then A intersection B means the common element. If you see, this is a common region between both the sets. Get it? And this is the universal set. Got it, students? Now, this is very important. So as you have already discussed about the 4 results which we got, these are something which we get from the above results. So we also get these 4. So basically they are trying to say is n of A intersection B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A union B. You can also reframe, that's what they are trying to say. Then n of U is equals to n of A plus n of A complement. And then in case if A and B are disjoint, means there is nothing common between them, then we can say that n of A union B equals to n of A plus n of B. So the intersection part alone is excluded if A and B are two disjoint sets. Now let's move on to the exercise problems. Now let us move on to the exercise problem. Exercise 1.6, question number 1. If n of A equals to 25, n of B equals to 40, n of A union B equals to 50, and n of B complement equals to 25, find n of A intersection B and n of U. Solution. In order to find n of A intersection B, we have to first write our formula. So what is our formula? N of A intersection B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A union B. So let us simply substitute the values of n of A, then n of B, then n of A union B. So after substituting the values, what do I get after solving? I get 65 minus 50, which is equal to 15, right? Next, n of u. So my formula says n of u equals to n of b plus n of b complement. Again, what is my n of b? It is 40. What is my b complement? 25. All the values are given to me. I have to simply substitute and get. So I get the answer as 65, right? Next, we have subdivision 2. So if n of A equals to 300, n of A union B equals to 500, and n of A intersection B equals to 50, and n of B complement equals to 350, we have to find n of B and n of U. So first of all, let us first write the formula of n of U. So in order to find n of U, you have to first of all know what is n of B, right? But then you know what is n of B complement, but still you have to find n of B. Then how can you find n of B? If you look into the question carefully, you have n of A union B as well as n of A intersection B as well as n of A. Now think, why can't we make use of any one of the result? So we have n of A intersection B, right? We have this result. So if you see carefully in this, you know what is n of A intersection B, you know what is n of A, you know what is n of A union B as well. The only thing which you don't know is n of B. So can you not reform this equation? So you have to basically leave n of B alone over here and bring these two over here. So the sign will change. So my n of A, which is positive over here, if it goes to other side, it will become negative. Got it, students? And then my sign for n of A union B, which is negative, will become positive if it goes to the other side. Next, I have to merely substitute the values of n of A union B, n of A intersection B, and n of A over here. So I get the answer as 250. So my n of B is 250. Now I can substitute n of B in this equation. Which equation? N of U equals to n of B plus n of B complement. Now I get my n of B as 250. Then I also have my n of B complement as 350. Now I have to merely substitute, and then by adding, I get the answer as 600. Now let's move on to the next question. The given question to me is, if the universal set U equals to X such that X belongs to a natural number and X is less than or equal to 10, and A is a set which consists of elements 2, 3, 4, 8, and 10, and B is a set which consists of elements 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10, then verify n of A union B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B. How do we proceed to this is, if you have to verify, you have to take the LHS and then the RH, then prove it to the RHS part. You get it, students? First of all, take the LHS part and then prove it to the RHS part. Left hand side equals to right hand side. So what are the sets given to us? A is given and B is given. So let us first find n of A. N of A means I have to count the number of elements. So if you see, there are how many? 5. So I have written 5 over here. Likewise for B, if you count, there are 5 elements. So I have written 5. Next, let us find A union B. How do we find A union B? You have to write all the elements but without any repetition of A and B. Yes, I have written. Now, what is my an A intersection B? The elements which are common between A and B. So if you see element 2, 8 and 10 are common between A and B. Next, let us find the cardinal number of A union B, which means I have to count the number of elements of A union B. If I count, I get the elements as 7. So I have written 7 down over here. Next, let us first find the cardinal number of A intersection B. So it is 3. Now, let us take the LHS. So what is my LHS says? N of A union B. So it is 7. Let's write it down. Next, take the RHS part. What does my RHS says? It says N of A plus N of B minus N of A intersection B. Now, what is my N of A? It is 5. So I have written down 5 over here. What is my N of B? Again 5. I have written down 5 over here. What is my N of A intersection B? 3. So I have written down. So if I calculate, what do I get? 7. Now if you see carefully, do I get LHS is equal to RHS? Yes, I get, right? So hence I have proved that LHS is equal to RHS. Got it, students? Question we have to verify N of A union B union C equals to N of A plus N of B plus N of C minus N of A intersection B minus N of B intersection C minus N of A intersection C plus N of A intersection B intersection C for the following sets. So this is the first two subdivisions are given to us. So let us first solve the first subdivision. So basically again we have to only prove that LHS is equal to RHS, right? So let us rewrite whatever they have given to us. So next, let us first of all write the first subdivision. So what is the question? They have given us 3 sets. A, B and C is given to us. Next, now according to this, what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find N of A. Simply count the number of elements of N of A. Then simply count the number of elements of B. Write it as N of B. Then we have to count the elements of C and then write the number of elements. So we have written it as 4. Next, we have to find A intersection B. So if you see A intersection B, so there are 3 elements which are common. Next, B intersection C. C and F are common between B and C. So the number of elements which are common are 2. Likewise, in A intersection C, we have 3 elements, that is A, C and F, which are common. So N of A intersection C is 3. Next, we have to find A intersection B intersection C, which is equal to C and F. Now we have to find the cardinality of it. Basically, we have to simply count the number of elements. So there are 2. Again, let us just rewrite A intersection B, B intersection C, A intersection C, and A intersection B intersection C. These are the elements. Now, let's get back to the question. So what are the question says? We have to prove LHS is equal to RHS. Now, let us just simply take LHS. What is it? A union B union C, which means we have to write all the elements of A, B, and C, but without any repetition. We have written it down. Next, we have to find the cardinality of it. So we have to count the number of elements. There are 7 in number. Now let us mark this as equation 1. Next, moving on to RHS. Let us just rewrite the RHS which is given in the question over here. Next, we know that N of A is equal to 5, N of B equals to 4, N of C equals to 4, N of A intersection B equals to 3, B intersection C is equals to 2. Likewise, we also know that N of A intersection C is equals to 3, and then we also know that the N of A intersection B intersection C is equals to 2. Yes, let us simplify. What do we get? We get the answer as 7. Now mark this as equation 2. Now carefully observe equation 1 and equation 2. You get both the answers same, right? Hence equation 1 is equal to equation 2. We have hence proved that N of A union B union C equals to N of A plus N of B plus N of C minus N of A intersection B minus N of B intersection C minus N of A intersection B intersection C. Got it, students? Moving on to the next subdivision, we have the given sets A, B, and C. Then we also have n of B is 4, n of C is again 4. Okay, now let us first find A intersection B. So A intersection B is 3 and 5. Simultaneously, let us also find the cardinality of it. So it is 2. Likewise, let us also find B intersection C. It is 5 and 6. Then the cardinality of B intersection C is 2. Similarly, let us also find C intersection A. We have the two elements which are common are 1 and 5. So we have the cardinality of them to be as 2. Next, we have to find A intersection B intersection C. Then we get only one element which is common, that is 5. Hence, we have written the cardinality of it as 1 because there is only one element. Next, let us find A union B union C, which means you have to write down all the elements but without any repetition. Now, if you count, you'll get the answer as 6. Next, this is the given question. We have to verify this. Now, we have found out everything. We have found out n of A union B union C, n of A, n of B, n of C, n of A intersection B, n of B intersection C, n of A intersection C. Like also we have found out n of B intersection A intersection B intersection C. Now, what are we going to do is we are supposed to split this up as LHS and RHS. So LHS, what is my LHS? N of A union B union C. So what is my N of A union B union C? It is 6. So I have written down over here my RHS. So basically I'm simply going to substitute my, what is my N of A? It is 4. I have written down, sorry, it is 3. N of B is 4. N of C is 4. N of A intersection B is 2. N of B intersection C is again is 2. N of A intersection C is 2. N of A intersection B intersection C is 1. Hence, we have to solve this. Then we get the answer as 6. Now, if you see, LHS and RHS are equal to each other. Hence, we have proved, right? Question number 4. In a class, all students take part in either music or dance or both. 25 students take part in music, 30 students take part in drama, and 8 students take part in both music and drama. Find the number of students who take part in music only, the number of students who take part in only drama, and the total number of students in the class. These are the three subdivisions which we are supposed to find. We are going to solve this sum with the help of a Venn diagram. Okay, so how do we draw a Venn diagram? First of all, let us draw two circles representing the music and drama each. What is given to us? 25 students take part in music, it seems. Now let us write 25 over here initially. Then they have said 30 students take part in drama. Let us write 30 over here. Then they have also said that 8 students take part in both music and drama, it seems. So let us write that 8 in between over here. Then what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the number of students who take part in music only, which means the number of students 25, which is given over here, are not the only students who take part in music, out of which 8 students are there who take part in both music and drama. Likewise, over here 30 means these are not the only students who take part in drama alone. There are also 8 students out of which who take part in both music and drama. So what are we supposed to do? In order to find the number of students who take part in music only, we are simply supposed to exclude the 8 students over from here. We get the answer as 17. Likewise, in order to find the number of students who take part only in drama, we are supposed to exclude the 8 students who take part in both music and drama. So we get the answer as 22. So we have found out the first and second subdivision, correct? Next, what are we supposed to find? We are supposed to find the total number of students in the class. How will we able to find the total number of students in the class? Okay, we know the students who take part only in music are 17. We know the students who take part only in drama are 22. And we also know that there are certain section of students who take part in both music and drama. Now let us simply add the 17, 8 and 22. We get the answer as 47. Hence, we have solved the first, second and third subdivision. Moving on to the next question. In a party of 45 people, each one likes tea or coffee or both. 35 people like tea and 20 people like coffee. We have to find the number of people who like both tea and coffee, then who do not like tea, and then the ones who do not like coffee. Okay, first of all, let us represent the one who like to drink tea with the capital letter T. Then the ones who like to drink coffee as C. Okay, we have a formula. What does a formula says? We have a form result. We have n of A union B equals to n of A plus n of B minus n of A intersection B. Okay. Now let us get back to the first subdivision. What does it say? We have to find the number of people who like to drink both tea and coffee. Here, both means intersection. I hope you can understand when do we do what do we do for intersection? We take the common elements between both the sets, right? Similarly, over here, we are going to solve this sum not with the help of Venn diagram, but with the help of the formula. Okay, so let us reframe this formula. In order to find the intersection, let us simply exchange. Basically, what I'm trying to say is let us bring this n of A intersection B over here and then n of A union B over here. So sign alone changes. This minus becomes plus and then this plus becomes minus over here. Then we have simply rewritten A and B with T and C. That's it. That's the only difference. T stands for tea and C stands for coffee. Okay, now let us simply substitute the values. What is my n of t? N of t means the number of people who like to drink tea. Those are 35. I have written 35 over here. N of c means the number of people who like to drink coffee. Those are 20 in number. So let us write 20 over here. Minus the T union C means the number of people over there in the party. Those are 45 in number, right? Now, if I solve, I get the answer as 10. So we have found out the number of people who like to drink both tea and coffee are 10. Next, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to find the number of people who do not like tea. This is very simple. We have known that how to find the complement, right? So complement of anything is, now let us write the thing with the help of a formula. So the ones who do not like to drink tea, let us represent them with the T complement. N of T complement equals to N of U minus N of T. This is the formula. Now let us simply substitute. Now N of U stands for universal set. Over here, universal set means the total number of people, correct? So how many people are there? There are 45 people in general. Let us write over here. Then the ones who like to drink tea are 35 in number. Let us also write. Then we'll have to solve that. We get the answer as 10. Got it, students? Next, we have to find the number of people who do not like to drink coffee. With the help of the same formula, we have N of C complement equals to N of U minus N of C. Again, what is my N of U? It is a universal set, which is 45. What is my N of C? It is 20. 20 people like to drink coffee. Hence, after solving, what do I get? I get 25 as the answer. Let's move on to question number 6. In an exam, 50% of the students passed in maths and 70% of the students passed in science, while 10% students failed in both subjects. 300 students passed in at least one subject. Find the total number of students who appeared in the exam if they took exam in only two subjects. Okay, so let us represent the students who appeared in the exam to be 100%. That is just our assumption as of now. Okay, so let the percentage of students who failed in math be 10 and the percentage of students who failed in science be, let the percentage of students who failed in math be M and the percentage of students who failed in science be S as of now. Okay, so the percentage of failures in maths, how can we find? We can find with the help of 100% minus the pass percentage. Am I right? 100% stands for the total. Total is 100%, out of which if you take off the pass percentage, you will get the fail percentage, right? So how much is the pass percentage for math? It is 50, correct? So 100% minus 50% will give me 50%. Similarly, we can find the fail percentage of science. How can we find? 100 percentage minus the pass percentage. So the number of students, I mean the percentage of students who passed in science are 70. So 100 minus 70 is equal to 30 percentage, which means these are the 30% of students have failed in science and 10% of students failed in both the subjects they have given to us. Correct? Okay. Next. First of all, let us find the percentage of students who failed in at least one subject. How can we find? Okay, we have the formula. We have n of m union s is equal to n of m plus n of s minus n of m intersection s. So now we have found n of m to be 50%, n of s to be 30%, and n of m intersection s. Those are the failures of both the subject. Am I right? To be 10%. All these are the fail percentage, students. So these are the number of failures, percentage of failures in maths. These are the percentage of failures in science, and these are the percentage of failures in both the subject put together. Then we have substituted in this formula. What do we get? We get 70. 50 plus 30 is 80. 80 minus 10 is 70. Hence, we have got the percentage of students failed in at least one subject with the help of this formula. Got it, students? Now we can get the percentage of students who passed in at least one subject. How come we can get like last time? What did we do over here? We took the total minus the pass percentage in order to get the fail percentage. Similarly, we are going to do the 100 minus the fail percentage in order to get the pass percentage. So the failures are 70%. Am I right? Those are the failures at least in one subject. So 100 minus 70, we get 30. 30% we get. Now, what are we supposed to find is, we are supposed to find the total number of students who appeared in the exam. Okay, now let us assume the total number of students who appeared in exam to be as X, since we do not know, correct? Now, let's get back to the question. They have given to us about 300 students. What have they given? They have said that 300 students passed in at least one subject. So basically, they have given us the answer. They have given us the, instead of giving it in percentage, they have given to us in the answer itself. They have told us that 300 students passed in at least one subject. Now we have found the percentage of students who passed in one subject, that is 330. Am I right? So 30% of X, X stands for the total number of students. So the answer alone we know that it is 300. So I hope you can understand as to how we got this equation. Let me repeat what they have told us. 30% of X. So how do we get this? 30% is the pass percentage of the total number of students. You and I don't know. Let us rewrite it. Let us write it as X itself. But then we know the total. We know the answer for it is to be 300, which is given to us. Am I right? Okay. Now let us write. How do we write 30% as 30 by 100? Correct. Of X is equals to 300. Okay. So let us keep X alone over here. Let us take this 100 and 30 over there. So what will happen? It will reciprocate. 30 will go up. 100 will go up and 30 will come down. So after solving, what do I get? 300 into 100 divided by 30. What do we get? We get 1000. Hence, the total number of students who appeared in the exam are 1000 students. Got it? Thus, we have come to an end of the first chapter. The rest of the sums will be given to you all through WhatsApp. Thank you, students.